Okay, I am here with my favorite guest ever.
Favorite daughter, child. Sorry, not daughter.
Favorite guest ever. No shade to all of our wonderful guests, but well, I actually have had my other children
You
on,
have. So I caught you. Catch 22, baby.
No. So but you are the child that's appeared on She Sells, He Sells the most.
Am I the most recurring guest at this point?
You know what? I think you
Probably.
are.
This is my third?
This is your third appearance.
Dang.
Yeah. So you have this time you're coming back with the first time with the rebrand. What do you think of the new studio?
I think it's nice. Well, first of all, I did the rebrand.
Yes,
I didn't do the work really. Well, I did the work, but I didn't do
I
conceptualized it. I set up the idea for the shoot. I did some creative direction.
Yes, you didn't actually execute the wall.
I didn't no.
You were in Syracuse, New York.
Soft skills, baby. No building.
Yeah. But you did come up with the idea. You told us we need to up-level a bit.
Yes, and the font, Helvetica New. I actually paid, I think, like $3 to get that license.
Did you? Wow, thank you so much.
Out of the goodness of my heart.
Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome.
Well, do you like it?
I do. Yeah, I like the colors. We were going to go, I think, blue and red, but then that was given a little too, political party. So I like the purple. I feel like
purple ties back to my personal brand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the red lip, of course.
Yeah. Is it flattering?
Flattering is a myth.
Okay.
Don't try and catch me. I'm not going to say that.
Okay. So you were here to sell us on an idea because you have been on the podcast twice before, but we've talked
straight BS on those episodes.
We've talked what it's like to be a teenage girl, and we'll probably get into that a little bit today.
Yeah,
but you are a very opinionated young woman.
Don't I know
young
it?
Adult. Don't I know it?
Don't I know it?
So we both know it. And what you are selling today is a really unique idea. So give us your big idea.
My big idea is that flattering, and I'm talking about fashion, but I feel like it applies to all aspects of life. Flattering is a myth.
Flattering is a myth.
I do think that.
Yeah, I don't know if I buy it or not.
I'm sure you don't, actually. I was almost positive you wouldn't.
Really?
Also, I'm really making a statement here today, too, because first of all, this top isn't technically flattering. Second of all, I'm missing 3 nails, so.
Well, my nails are not looking great either, so.
Well, at least they're all in one state. Mine are kind of all over the place, kind of a mental state as I pack for school.
Yeah, that's an air quote, pack. Yes. Okay, flattering is a myth. So I really do love interesting ideas, though, and that's why I wanted you to come on and talk about this. And you first said this when you and I were filming a piece of content together, which I love filming content with you.
I know you do.
We should.
No, that's not bad.
It's like supposed to say, I love filming
I
content
love it too. It's like, I'm definitely your best friend. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. It's a from Issa Rae. It's a show.
That's so sad.
Google it. It's a
I love
reference.
filming content with you.
I do too, Mom.
Anyway, we were filming content together because you planned a vow renewal for Dad and I, which was so wonderful and so nice.
Good to hear that you guys liked it.
We did.
That's what I mean.
We did. And we did some dress try-ons. I did some dress try-ons, and you, because you are a bridal stylist, which we're going to get into, I had you give me some feedback. And one of the dresses, immediately when I put on, I was like, oh, this is not flattering. I feel like it hugged me in all the wrong spots, and it just did not flatter my body. And you didn't also, to be clear, you did not love the dress.
I didn't like the dress, no.
And you said flattering is a myth. So can you explain what you mean by that?
Yeah. So I think as women specifically, and I'm taking the side from a female perspective, I don't really know obviously I don't know what it's like to be a man in fashion. I will say from the outside, though, it is very different. Men don't have to worry about whether or not something's flattering. Right? Nobody says, wow, that really shows off your arms in a weird way. You know what I mean? It's also even that's why the dad bod is oh my God, it's so hot. But a mom bod is ew, take care of yourself. You know what I mean? That's just one example of clothing being flattering and there being a double standard there. As women, we're sold this idea by big box stores, corporations, other women, men specifically is what I'm talking about, that things need to be flattering, proportional all the time. But I just don't believe that when you're engaging with fashion and you're styling yourself, flattering should be something you're taking into consideration, because I think it's completely false. All of it. It's my hot take.
I really am intrigued.
I know you are. I can tell you have some doubts.
Yeah, I don't necessarily have doubts. I just have more questions,
Okay.
I think. So, but I do want to hear more about when you kind of came to this realization for yourself, because definitely this is your own independent thought.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm some scary questions to ask you
God.
about more about being raised as a girl and with clothing and things. But when did you come to this realization for yourself?
So, like you said earlier, I work in bridal. I feel like anybody that knows me knows I work in bridal because I talk about it all the time. It's my favorite thing ever. I love my job. But I've probably seen at this point over 150 brides, and I could put my hand on the Bible and swear in front of a judge and a jury that the word flattering has been used in 90% of my appointments.
Yeah, I bet.
By me sometimes, by parties, their families that are with them, friends, moms, the brides themselves, this isn't flattering. Whether it's a plus size girl saying, I don't want to try on a fitted dress, it's not flattering. Whether it's a super thin girl saying, I don't want to try on a ball gown, it'll swallow me up, it's not flattering. And I just feel like I've also put dresses on because I do a lot of content for them. So I will get to try on a lot of the dresses, which is so fun. But I've definitely put stuff on that I've seen on thinner models or models with a different build than me, period, online, and put on myself and said, oh my God, I love this dress. I loved it on the model. I loved it on the hanger. And I put it on and I'm like, oh, this highlights something I don't like. There's a lump in my back, or you can see my armpits. And it's I just think that the idea that something has to be flattering on us all the time is really holding us back from just looking cool. I really do think that. And I think in bridal, with fashion in general, for me, and what I always tell my brides, it's all about goals, right? You can't really, people say you can't have it all. I think you kind of can, but you have to focus on your goals. So maybe your goal is, I want to look cool, I want to look classic, and I want to look back on these photos and love them. Then let's not talk about flattering. If one of your goals is, I want my body to sit right, that doesn't mean it has to be flattering. Because, and that sounds so crazy and so against the point and against the grain and everything, but your body could be sitting right in something that society is going to look at and think oh, that does not look good on her. Or, oh, her waist should be super tiny in that. Or her boobs should be to her eyebrows. You know what I mean? And it's you can have the things you want. You can look super cool, look super chic, have your body sitting right in something that somebody outside of yourself would look at and be oh, she shouldn't wear that. It's not good for her figure. That's my take. That's kind of where I kind of got the idea from.
What about the person that has those standards for themselves? So somebody that's but I don't want to see any of the rolls, and I want my boobs to sit in this spot, and I want my butt to look this way. How do you handle that kind of person?
I mean, I totally get that. Because I feel also on your wedding day, you do kind of want that. You know what I mean? Most people, I'd be remiss to say oh, people just want to look cool and funky. People want to look good. Your wedding day is probably your most photographed day of your life. Right. Nobody's ever taking as many photos of you. You're paying so much money for all these things. You want everything to be perfect. And part of that is your internalized kind of ideas of how your body should look. My answer to that would be, a lot of times what happens is it's somebody who's plus sized or doesn't see themselves represented in media a lot, especially fashion media, thinking that they have to wear something that shrouds their figure, right? Thinking that the top has to be super tight corseted waist, boning is straight, you know what I mean? You don't see a lump, you don't see a love handle, whatever they're concerned about, and a super flowy skirt to hide everything, hide the cellulite, hide anything that's on your body that makes you a human being. My answer to that would be, let's try something else on that people are going to tell you, maybe that's not flattering, but your body looks great. You know what I mean? The other thing we always say is that wedding dresses are so kind. They're kind to the wearer because, you spend all this money on a dress. because of the quality, because of the structure, because of the fit, because of the tailoring. You put yourself in something and you feel like your body, I mean, if you want to smooth out that lump, like let's add an extra piece of boning, or let's add an extra like corset lace or something in the back. If it doesn't really matter if somebody says it's not flattering on you, as long as you feel confident in it and you're ready to go and be photographed. Like, I don't care if it doesn't feel flattering. I don't care if you're super thin and you think this dress is going to swallow you up and you put it on and you're like, oh my God, I love it, but is it too big for me? Like, no. You know what I mean? I feel like as a society, we impose these ideas of like, what's the best outfit for a girl who's curvy? What's the best outfit for a girl who's thin? What's the best outfit for somebody who's like in between? You know what I mean? And I feel like when you let those go, you get to create your own personal style and you get to actually look cooler than if you're wearing the same thing as every other influencer who's telling you how to dress. That's my take. And I totally get, like, of course I want to look skinny when I dress. You know what I mean? I put it on and they're like, do you want your waist snatched down? I'm like, make me not be able to breathe. You know what I mean? I go to one of my coworkers, Maisie, because anytime I try on a dress, I like other girls will clip me and I'm like, come here, suck me in. You know what I mean? Bring me in. That's something that I like to see myself in. But just because, you know, I have like a fuller bust doesn't mean I don't want to wear a strapless dress because I think it's so pretty. I don't care if it's not flattering. Just because somebody with like a smaller bust wants to wear something super flat that kind of flattens them out, maybe, like, let them. You know what I mean? Mel Robbins, let them. No, though. Sorry. Anyways, that's a whole other idea I could sell. But
anyway, moving on.
Anyways, I just think that you're kind of given a formula and a set of rules based on how your body looks, and you have to follow that. And if you don't follow that, like, oof, you know what I mean? That's unflattering, or that doesn't fit your figure, or like that's made for a girl who's busty, or that's made for a girl who's skinny. And I just think it's all bullshit.
Ooh. E, we got
PG-13.
We got the E. We got the E. Okay. So do you believe in, you know, the body types? I mean, I know, what do you say to that? So, you know, there's the pear shape. And if you're pear shape, I'm not an expert in this, but if you're pear shape, like let your top hit at whatever, you're this wearing your navel and this silhouette of pants is better for you. And if you're long waisted, this works better for you. So there's all those formulas that I don't understand, but people teach. Do you believe those formulas are true? What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's a loaded debate because I also consider myself like an artist and, you know, like as like a filmmaker, as a creative, you know, follow the golden ratio, right? Looking at something from like, say, a graphic design perspective or a filmmaker perspective or photography, follow the golden ratio. You know what I mean? Make sure all your ducks are in a row, make sure things are balanced the way you want them to be balanced. When I look at an outfit, I'm not looking at, you know, the mathematical equation between somebody who's an apple shape. Where does the top sit on them and where does the bottom sit on them? I'm looking at the colors. I'm looking at the conceptualization. I'm looking at like, did they do sandwich method or did they add a cool accessory? I think that also assigning these types of, I mean, body types exist 100%. I think I'd be remiss to say like, you know, it doesn't matter. Everybody looks the same. That's not true. But I don't think it's true that you have to dress in this mathematically probable way for something to look cool on you or look good on you. Like, think about men don't have to deal with this. You know what I mean? That's my bottom line. If a man's a pear shape, nobody's telling him, you know, wear this or wear that. You see a guy in like a really cool blazer and you're like, wow, I like that blazer. You see a girl in a cool blazer and you're like, oh, that's not hitting her right. I also think we make ourselves miserable. We assign and we let women on the internet and men on the internet and anybody on the internet assign these, again, mathematical equations to make sure that our waists look tiny, our boobs look huge, our butts are sitting right, we don't have any cellulite showing, it's completely smoothed down. And I just think that's a miserable way to live. Generally, I think a lot of it's about happiness, to be real with you. That's my take there.
How'd you get to be so smart?
Got from my mama.
Oh, good answer.
My tuition's paid for the next year.
So true. So true. So yeah, we've talked a lot about it in terms of bridal. And I do want to come back to bridal because I want to talk about your job and brag on you a little bit there. But what about, let's talk a little bit about it outside of bridal, like in everyday dressing, because I feel like that's a little bit harder.
It is.
Because you said wedding dresses are kind, but regular clothes are not as kind.
That's the other thing. This top right now, like,
which is mine.
Right, it is yours.
Taylor Danielle, shout out.
I put it on because I thought it was super cute. This top is doing nothing for me. You know what I mean?
But your outfit is very cool.
Thank you. That's why I put it on.
Yeah, when you came downstairs, I was like, ooh, that's a very cool outfit.
This skirt is doing...
Do you have the belt? Did you
no,
leave
it fell off.
Oh, okay.
I had a little denim belt. I don't know. I put it in my bag, though. I think it might be Dad's, like, old jeans.
No, it was from one of my pairs of jeans.
Okay, well, it's in my bag for school. I can give it back to you.
For bag for school. I thought you'd been for dinner tonight.
But I can give it back.
You can have it because I don't wear it usually.
Thank you. Anyways... By a societal standard, you know, I look like a milkmaid and I kind of look like a Mormon missionary, you know?
No, I don't think so.
The thing is...
Because it's all working.
But it's like the shape. You know what I mean? This shape does not show off my body in the right way. You know what I mean? It doesn't make my waist look super small. I'm actually like struggling breathing right now because it's flattening me here. I'm like, whew. But I like it and I thought it looked cool, so I put it on. I think... Again, bridal gowns are kind. Not always, but like the way they're made is to make you feel secure, structured, all the things. That's the other thing. I think we can make ourselves miserable with trying to find the right clothes, trying to find things that hit you just right. At this point in society, everything is mass produced. Nothing is made for my body, for your body, for anybody's body. I don't say that it's just like, oh, my body type isn't represented or your body type isn't represented or whoever watching. You know what I mean? When I'm talking about that, I'm saying it's mass produced for like the lowest common denominator, the lowest cost. They're not going to add extra structure because they want you to look good. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're just scraps of fabric that they're figuring out the cheapest way they can do it. If you want to look super flattered and you want everything to hit the right way, you got to make your own clothes. You know what I mean? Genuinely, that's how it is now. That's why I think wearing pieces that are just super cool or things that you think work well together is better than trying to find something that makes you look super flattering. I know I have shirts where I'm like, I wish the waist was tucked in more so it could show off my figure, and I'll like tuck it in the back and it doesn't look good. And I take it out and I'm like, okay, well, I look cool. I look fashionable. I don't have to look snatched. I don't have to look sitting and everything. You know what I mean? I think again, it comes back to me for like, why would you make your life harder? You know what I mean? Like, why would you make it harder to accept yourself as a person? Why would you make it harder to find your personal style? Why would you make it harder to be creative? You're not always going to have this perfectly tailored outfit. So why would you focus on the idea of trying to look societally acceptable, societally like flattering, instead of seeing two things you look good together? And it's like, okay, well, maybe it doesn't do my figure right in the way other people would see me, but like, I feel cool. I feel like I'm ready to take on the day. I feel confident. And I think a lot of it also goes back to like, again, I keep blaming the men. I'm sorry. I'm not what is it, misandrist? I'm not. But the way like society was set up and the way that women were expected to carry themselves. Misandrist, yeah. So I just like look at the Middle Ages, right? Just an example. In the Middle Ages, this also goes like with body trends and like the way women's bodies are supposed to be viewed. In the Middle Ages, it was super good. It was chic to be like chubby and plump because it showed that you can eat. You know what I mean? Genuinely.
You're rich. You had money.
The peasants were like super skinny and nobody wanted to be skinny because it's like, oh, well, that's like for poor people. And now look at today. We're in the epidemic. You know, everything's turning back to a different time, and like being chubbier or being not in a straight size is not seen as something desirable. But like we keep going through these trends, and at some point it's going to swing the other way again. So clothes are not going to ever be right for you in whatever stage or moment you're in for your body. They're never going to hit just right for every single person. You're never going to find something that's perfectly tailored to you just in Target or on Amazon. You know what I mean? So it's like the idea that things have to be flattering to one body type or one thing idea we're being sold right now by beauty industries, by health industries. Like it just like makes me so mad.
Mm-hmm.
I really do get angry about it because it's like back in the Middle Ages too, like they wanted like it was chic to be like super structured and have your boobs sitting really high and like accentuate your hips, you know what I mean? So you looked plump. Nowadays, everybody wants to be super straight and thin and skinny, which like if either of those are your body types, that's amazing, that's wonderful, but it's like we're always trying to turn into something that we're not. And that's the idea that flattering sells us. Be something that you're not. Cover up something that isn't societally acceptable. That's why I really do think it's a myth, because at any point in history, you could have said, you know, you went back to the Middle Ages and you said, girls get skinnier. And they would have been like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? You go today and you're like, plump up. And people are like, what are you talking about? It's never, flattering changes throughout time because it is mythical. It's like a unicorn, but like less cute.
You're always chasing it and you can't ever get it.
It's never going to happen. Like, that's the thing.
Now, but
okay. Buckle up.
But I mean, sometimes I'm sure you do put something on and you're like, ooh, I look good in this.
Yeah.
And sometimes there are pieces of clothing that do work for your specific body type.
100%.
So there's certain things that do work. You said you like a snatched in waist.
Yeah.
So there's a piece of, you know, there's a dress that it's like, ooh, that really flatters your body. So what do you say to that? Do you ever seek those types of clothing out? Like, I mean, what's your feeling on that?
I think we all do. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, I've never considered how my body looks in anything. Like, that's just a lie. And I think I would go as far to say every single woman has thought that.
Right.
And I mean, men too, I'm sure. I think that it's also like an internalized thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, it is an internalized thing. It's something that you have to almost like sometimes I have to like fight against it to be like, wow, I feel like this baggy shape makes me look pregnant. Like, that's what I always say that to you. I'm like,
do.
Oh my God, this shirt makes me look pregnant because it's like a bit too baggy and all this stuff. And it's like, I think I would be remiss to say, like, I've never thought about something being flattering, but I think that goes back to, like, one of your goals. You know what I mean? Like a clothing goal. Like, in this outfit, I don't really care about looking like my body's sitting in the right areas. I think the difference between showing off your body and something being flattering is that flattering attempts to hide things. Showing off your body accentuates things. So when I say a snatched waist, you know, I want it to be snatched in around my waist because I'm like, I think that looks good. When I'm saying flattering, it's like, think of the myth that they sell plus size women. You know what I mean? Think about clothes that are made for plus size women. Straight shrouds. You know what I mean? Like, they look like
covering up.
Yeah, young girls that are like in their 20s that want to just have a cute outfit like their skinny friend, and they have to look like they're 50 years old and on their real estate cruise. You know what I mean?
No shade to real estate agents.
No shade, but like
the real estate agents dress very cute.
They do, but I'm saying, like, think of a real estate agent from like the 90s.
Yeah.
She's 50. She has her Tommy Bahama.
Watch the 50 Shade too, girl.
Oh, I forgot. Knocking on 50's door now.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm just saying, think about at other points in history and stuff like that. Again, like, they want you to dress like you're a
golden girl.
A golden girl.
Yeah.
And it's like, that girl just wants to like wear a cute Urban Outfitters corset.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think the difference between accentuating a body and flattering a body is that flattering is the idea of shrouding things.
Okay.
Accentuating is the idea of like showing off what you got.
Okay.
You know what I mean? That's why I always say, like, I keep going back to the plus size example because I feel like that's something that's so relevant in bridal. A lot of girls come in and they think they need this like A-line gown that doesn't poof them up, doesn't make them look too big, but it also kind of hides the things they don't want to see. And you know what I mean? If you're a plus size girl and you love an A-line, like I love an A-line, I love a ball gown. But it's like putting her in a fit and flare that shows off her body. It's not hiding anything. It's accentuating the way she looks. You know what I mean? It's hugging her curves, but it's not flattering her by society's standards. But she looks great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think it is the idea of like accentuating versus flattering. And I think it is a slippery slope, or like a skinny girl who's also like sold the idea that she's too thin to wear something super tight, or she's too thin to wear something super puffy because it's just going to make her look huge and swallow her up. You know what I mean? Like, putting her in something that like shows off like her thinness and shows off her figure, but also like maybe it is a ball gown, maybe it does swallow her up, but like she feels cool in it. Like that's accentuating parts of her that she's proud of. You know what I mean? Instead of selling her the idea that like your thinness is something you should be ashamed of and that you should find a way to like engineer it so you don't look like that.
Yeah.
Like I'm thin or I'm curvy or I'm plus size and this is how I look and my body's great and you can see it in this dress, not this is flattering on me because it covers up the part of my body that isn't acceptable.
Yeah. You're good, Ava
Thank
Demcher.
you.
You're good. Yeah.
I was proud of that one, not gonna lie.
That is really good. Yeah. I think there's the two really important things that is making this come into focus for me is what you just said, the accentuating versus flattering. So flattering is more of covering up in your definition, or hiding the thing.
Exactly. To me, a flattering thing would be, you know, I have a love handle in my back, and what's flattering for me is if I shroud that.
Yeah.
If I cover that up and I make my waist look super small, but that's not seen.
Right.
You know
well,
what I mean?
and back to my example of when I tried that dress on, I feel like it was clinging to my stomach and the rolls in my stomach. And so I was like, oh, it's not flattering. But what I really was like, oh, you can see my stomach roll.
Right.
And that's what I meant.
I always say to my brides too, I feel like the stomach thing is such a big thing too. Stomach and arms. And a couple of times what's been helpful too is like, they're like, I had a bride, she was like my favorite bride ever. She was like, I don't like my arms. And I was like, you have limbs. Do you know what I mean? Like you have arms. I'm sorry that you exist with arms. You know what I mean? Like they're there and they look great. You know, it's a thing that you pinpoint on yourself, or like brides will be like, oh my God, you can see my stomach. I'm like, girl, that's your like uterus. Like those are
that's
your
what
organs.
You always say. Yeah.
Yeah.
You do say that
you need those.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like you kind of need those to live. Like if you didn't have those, like that'd be bad. You know what I mean? So it's like there's parts of every woman has her thing or multiple things, and I totally get that. But it's like instead of trying to hide those, let's accentuate something about those. If you have a softer stomach, let's accentuate how good that looks with your hips. If you're insecure about your arms, let's accentuate how good your arms taper into your boobs. You know what I mean? Like genuinely, because it's like there are parts of you that you think you need to hide, but by accentuating them with another part of your body that like kind of matches it, almost goes along with it. You know, you have broad shoulders, but your collarbone looks amazing. So let's accentuate that instead of trying to hide your shoulders by putting on a sleeve that's just going to look ugly.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a really good point. And then the other thing you said that really makes a lot of sense is what are your goals?
Yeah.
So is your goal to make your body look as amazing as possible? And if that is the goal, then yeah, wearing something that's going to cling to your stomach is probably, that's not the dress for you.
Right.
But, or is your goal like you want something that looks really vintage and really interesting? And so it might cling to your stomach, but the goal is this really vintage piece. And so this might fit the goal.
The other thing is nobody's looking at your stomach. That's what I always say. I'm like, you are looking at yourself in the worst way right now. If one of your goals is to have your body sitting right, like let's find something that really accentuates it, not flatters it, because we're not going to hide anything, but like let's find something that really makes your hips look great and your waist look tiny and like everything kind of sits the way you want it to sit. If you want to look cool and you have this dress that looks super cool, but you're not the same size as the model who wore it, who was, you know, 100 pounds soaking wet, like that's just how bodies are. That's how bodies work. You can't have, you know, can't be thicker without a stomach. You can't be skinny without like being a little more flat chested, like stuff like that, where it's like, yeah, you don't look like the model on the website, but you look cool. You look great. Your body is like an add-on to this dress, right? It's not, nobody's looking at your body in the dress. We're looking at you, your face, your body language, your whole look. It's not about whether or not it hid that tiny bit of cellulite you have or how long your torso is. It's about like, if one of your goals is to look cool, you look cool. Your body is like a vessel for you to look cool in. You know what I mean? It's not about covering things up. That's kind of how I explain it.
And so we've been talking a lot about bridal. This has been your job for 2 years now.
Yes, at home.
at home while you live at home, yes. And while you're at school, you have another job. You're a marketing intern.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're home, you work at KMB Bridals.
Do shout out.
Shout out KMB, yes. And you've had a great summer at KMB. You've done, I'll brag on you because I know you won't brag on yourself. But no, you've had a really successful sales summer. You've done really great, sold a lot of dresses. And last summer you were successful too. But I feel like this summer you've really stepped it up. Yeah. And I feel like it'd be a missed opportunity to not dig into that just a little bit because this is called She Sells, He Sells. So what do you think the difference has been in like upping your sales percentage and your sales success this year versus last year?
I think like I feel like something that's like hard, especially in such like a personal role, in a role where you're dealing with like your priority is like protecting the bride, but you're also you don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, is being able to show some honesty and leadership in an appointment. I think like in my personal life, like I can be a little like iffy with confrontation and like I don't want to talk, or not even I don't want to talk about because I talk quite a bit, right? But it's like kind of like I don't want to offend anybody. I don't want to get offended. I don't want to hurt my feelings. I don't want to hurt anybody else's feelings. But being able to take on a leadership role in an appointment, have people like I know what I'm talking about, so like I might as well say what I'm thinking right now. You know what I mean? Being a little more honest. If somebody's like, "Oh, I hate the way this boning looks," or "I don't like the lace on this," being able to have an explanation for that and really just take on a role where it's like, you trust me not only because I'm being nice to you, I'm being honest with you and I'm telling you the facts and the figures. You know what I mean? Like it's less of like, "Oh, that looks great and you don't like that lace. I like it. I think it's cute." It's not about me. It's about me giving you the information and enough information for you to be able to make a decision. Not being a pushover, but also it's a hard balance because you also don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, especially I feel like it comes a lot less with brides, more with families. If mom's saying she hates that dress, but the bride likes it, and you're like, well, like, it's a hard balance to find. Excuse me. So I feel like being able to be honest and taking on a leadership role of like, I know what I'm talking about, so I might as well tell you what I'm thinking right now. And also just like assuming like sometimes I forget like it is a fashion forward role. You know what I mean? It's a fashion facing role. So being able to sound like or like present myself like I'm stylish, like I know what I'm talking about. Like I feel like even just like in my outfits or like stuff I wear to work, I've definitely tried to level up a little bit and be like, I'm an authoritative presence because one, I know fashion. I'm nice to you, but I'm telling you what I know, to help you make a decision, to help you figure out what you like, instead of letting my like kindness kind of guide and be like, that looks great and that looks great too. Being like, you didn't like the straps on this one, so why do you like it on this one? Asking questions, remaining curious, and really like just giving my knowledge first, because that's what you want to know. I feel like when you're being sold something too. And I think wedding dresses, it's scary because there's so much out there with like, we talk all the time about like the millennial bride versus the Gen Z bride. The millennial bride's kind of the bride who like comes in, they're like, I'm just ready to get a dress. Gen Z bride is inundated with social media content and is like, I feel like I need to go to 10 different stores. I need to go to Kleinfeld's and I need to go here and I need to try this couture dress and like, but I still want to spend $3,000. You know what I mean? Like it's like a lot. And I think everybody's different, but like just being able to be like, give you the facts, because not everybody thinks factually. I think emotionally. I definitely don't think factually, but even for the emotional girls, it helps them think like, okay, like she's not leading me astray. Just because I'm being nice and saying I love that lace or I love that color, you know what I mean? It doesn't mean that you're going to feel at ease with me. I feel like that's been something that's like helped a lot.
Yeah. So you've stepped into being more of the expert.
Yeah.
And the authority and guiding them.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And it's obviously translated into a lot of success.
Somewhat, yeah.
Have you used some of the flattering versus accentuate? Do you talk like that inside your appointments?
So it's been like a little bit of a gradual shift because I think I got used to saying, that's so flattering or that fits your figure. But I think I have been trying to point out more of I've been talking a lot more about goals, which I think has been super helpful. A lot of girls start their appointment not saying that they want their body to look great. They start their appointment saying they want to look timeless or they want to look whimsical or chic. Nobody is, I mean, some people do. I'm not going to say nobody. Some people start and they're like, just put me in whatever makes me look the skinniest or accentuates my butt. You know what I mean? And I'm like, okay, let's do that because that's what you want. But I would say 80% of my brides that come in, when I ask them, I'm like, what are your goals in a wedding dress? They want to feel beautiful and they want to feel whimsical and they want sparkle or they hate sparkle and they want something completely clean. A lot of girls don't come in and say, I need my stomach to be missing. I don't think I've ever had somebody say, I don't want to see my stomach. You know, they'll come in and they'll be like, I want my waist to be snatched in by the corset and I want my boobs to be up high. But I don't think I've ever had somebody come in and say, I don't want to see my fat or like stuff like that. It's as the appointment goes on, you become more critical of yourself. So I feel like that type of goal thing has been helpful. Like if someone will be like, oh, I can see my stomach in this. I'm like, your goal was to look chic. You know what I mean? That like, that's a big buzzword right now.
Right.
Your goal was to look chic. You never told me your goal was to have your stomach missing. You know what I mean? And if that's something we want to talk about, let's move into that territory. But like maybe another dress feels more societally acceptable, more flattering on you because we can't see your stomach. But like, is it as chic? Is it as beautiful of a piece of art? Because I feel like I've also emphasized too, like fashion is art. You know what I mean? So really pisses me off when we're so focused on looking so good and so cookie cutter and so being able to like be put in a box like a little doll and not focusing on like, wow, this just is a piece of art at the end of the day. Like I also think when we look at like art, like if you just take fashion out of it, or if we look at super high couture fashion, obviously couture and runway pieces are not the same as ready to wear Target stuff, even bridal gowns, you know what I mean? But it's like when you look at fashion on a higher level, a lot of the times they are not focusing on what the model's body type is. To be fair, pretty much everyone in their own ways is super stick thin. So it's like they don't really have to. But even taking like acting or abstract art, you know, when people give really gritty, ugly performances, we think it's awesome. When art gets really gritty and kind of gross, we think it's awesome. I'm not saying you got to be gritty and gross on your wedding day. You got to be gritty and gross in your day-to-day, but like if you see a painting and you think, wow, that's so beautiful or that's so amazing, and then you see a top, you think, wow, that's so beautiful and that's so amazing, but it wouldn't fit me. Do you know what you're saying right now? Do you know what I mean? Like it is at some point, especially more higher investment pieces, more expensive pieces, that is a piece of art. You know what I mean? It's wearable art. Fashion is art. That was just the Met Gala theme. And so many people thought it was stupid, but I do think it's a good reminder. Obviously things are at different stages. Like this, you know, the top I'm wearing to class, that's like a Target t-shirt, is not like Loewe spring summer 26. You know what I mean? Like that's just not what it is. But it is like the way I'm styling myself and the way I'm presenting myself. Like I'm a creative, I'm an artist, I look cool. I could give one less crap blank fill in the blank if you think that you can't, like if you think that I'm fat or if you think that you can see my arms. Like I don't care, I look cool. And I think that's something that we think about art, but we can't put it on ourselves. The other thing, and like this is like a little like more of like a societal critique. I feel like we've been talking a lot about art and fashion and stuff like that. This is like gonna sound so bad or like so random, but like women could not own credit cards 50 years ago. Like that sounds
crazy.
So off topic.
No, it's crazy.
But sometimes I'm just like, why do I care if I look skinny? Women could not own credit cards 50 years ago. I genuinely think that. And like, I'm like, sometimes I just get so exhausted. I really do.
And like, you're only 19
and
years old.
And I'm only 19.
Girl, you got a lot of years to be exhausted.
No, but I'm just saying, like, I do think it's funny how sometimes we're so concerned about looking a certain way. And it's like, we still have so much work to do, girl. We really do. And a lot of it is like dressing for the male gaze and like dressing to kind of please men. Even if we're not going to say that, and I'm not going to say, I want to look skinny so that, you know, this guy catcalls me. Nobody's going to say that. It's an internalized thing, and you don't think that when you get ready. But, like, you do think of yourself like that because that's the way society has presented things to us.
Mm-hmm.
I want to dress so that the girl next to me in my lecture thinks, wow, she's really cool. I don't want to get a compliment from a man.
What about from your boyfriend?
Well, yeah, but like, he'll do that anyway. So I don't really care.
Because you've trained him well.
Exactly. But I also just think like the credit card thing, like sometimes I think like there are way bigger problems right now. And if I want to look cool and I want to look awesome, like I don't care if I look skinny, guys, whatever. That's my thing. You know what? It's not flattering is a myth. Whatever.
That's your big idea. Whatever.
No, literally. I'm like, sometimes I look a mess. Sometimes I look cool. Sometimes I look skinny. Sometimes I don't look flattering. Sometimes I look chubby. I don't care.
Well, caring a little bit in general in life is important.
Okay, I'm not saying that.
Important.
I'm just saying, like, sometimes I do think about it, and I'm like,
I know what you're saying.
I'm dressing like, my great-great-grandma, they were making her put on stockings and a girdle, and I'm like, oh my God.
Thank God.
You know what I'm doing for her? I'm looking a little ugly sometimes. That's what I was just saying to you the other day. Like, it's kind of chic to post a photo you look ugly but cool in.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes I see a photo of myself and I'm like, oh, I look ugly, but like, damn, I look cool. So I'm going to post it.
You know what?
You're
one of a kind, whatever. I'm really, I would imagine that people listening.
I actually have not thought about that one bit, unfortunately.
Whatever. I would imagine that people listening are wondering.
Calling BS.
No, not calling BS at all. You're very authentic and clearly this is who you are. Have you always been this way? Have you always felt this strongly about, like, it's coming off very confident, very authentic, very independent, very like, this is who I am. If you've listened to any of the past podcast episodes with you, we've talked about like this isn't always who you were, so we've like gone through your story, but I think it would be interesting to touch on that a little bit because you're 19 years old right now, which is still very young, but
like spring chicken.
You are a spring chicken, but and obviously I'm not, since you've been talking about 50
God.
is so old.
50 in like the 70s, you guys. 50 nowadays is so different, I feel.
Yes, it is so
because
different.
of society. And because of what's been flattering, too.
Well, in a good way.
In a positive way.
Yeah.
It's a net positive.
Yeah. But you've gone through those, like, horrible preteen. Well, your years were kind of horrible.
I think they might have been. They're calling it the worst years for me. The worst year ever for a woman. Or for a person.
What?
My preteen years are the worst year. Worst anyone has ever been as a person, too.
You sound like Donald Trump right now. They're saying it was...
Huge. Wait, huge worst years.
Yeah. They're saying it was. Anyway.
His toupee is not flattering.
Okay. Oh.
Sorry.
Well, okay. Anyway, moving on. But yeah, this is hard-earned wisdom.
Yeah.
So Ava at age 12 was wearing Champion sweatshirts because everyone was wearing the Champion sweatshirts. She was wearing all the mascara on the upper and lower lashes.
So much mascara. I would like to just interject that I got a sty because I did not wash it off.
Yes, we had to go to the beach for that sty. We missed out on a full day.
Had to go to the beach.
I mean, sorry, we had to go to the urgent care
because I was
the beach.
You know what? Because that's another flattering thing. I was like, wow, this mascara is super flattering. I'm gonna wear it in the ocean because obviously on the beach with my family, I have to look super hot.
Yeah. So how did you get there? How did you get through that? Because I do think you are still in the minority right now of 19-year-olds that are where you're at in this. I think I mean, I don't know. And I do think most of your friends are more like you.
Yeah.
But maybe my perception is just based on social media. But even based on other people that I know that have girls your age, I do think you're in the minority of these strong feelings of flattering is a myth. I think most people are still falling into it. And people my age are still falling into it.
Yeah.
So how did you get from I have to wear my mascara at the beach and all the time and I have to dress like everybody else to where you are right now?
I feel like some of it definitely is first of all, I was probably, like, when people say sheeple, I was probably the biggest sheep in the world. Like,
for a short period of time.
Sheep.
Yes.
Huge,
yes.
Huge. But Honestly, I don't really know. You know what I mean? I feel like also I've like totally like blocked out that part of my life, which is like not good, but we'll talk about that later. So we can do a whole other episode on that.
Yes,
but
yes.
I feel like the only way out is through, you know what I mean? So I feel like going through those things and feeling so awful about myself and so awful about what I eat and what I wear and what I look like just made me kind of be at this point where I'm like, I know I'm a smart person. I know I'm a creative person. I know at the end of the day, like I'm a kind and good person. So like there are things about myself that I've just learned to accept and things about myself that I'm like, this isn't gonna change. Do you know what I mean? Like this isn't gonna be I'm not gonna wake up one morning and everything's gonna be perfect. Even if I was, you know, in this super societally like flattering body type. You know, I worked so hard to get there. Then what would I be miserable about?
Right.
Then what would be my issue? Because there would be one.
Mm-hmm.
You're always going to find an issue with yourself. So I feel like being able to accept like, this is who I am. I'm not going to change for anybody. And also just having a really good support system of people that love me the way I am. Like you guys, the friends I've made, even like my boyfriend, you know, like male-centered, whatever. Like being like, just being able to be like, you know, like they love me and I haven't changed a single thing about myself to be friends with them or be in a relationship with them. Like, then why nobody's looking at me and being like, oh, I'm friends with her because her waist is so skinny, or I'm friends with her because she doesn't have any cellulite. I'm friends with her because she eats 1,200 calories a day. And it's like, no, they're friends with me because I'm kind to them, or we have so many good memories, or like I make them laugh, or they make me laugh. So it's like, I feel like just being able, it is kind of the whatever mindset of just being like, there are things that are just not up to me, and there are things that I'll never be able to control. So like, why not make peace within myself and just be able to like kind of move on from trying to fit into anything, you know what I mean? Or fit into any idea. Like if I'm already halfway there, might as well just go all the way. And like, there's definitely things like I caught myself the other day wanting to buy a Park sweatshirt. Oh,
like, Ava Demcher in a Park sweatshirt. I never thought I'd see the day.
They look so comfortable. I was like, shoot. My friend Dakota and I were talking about this. I was like, why do I want one now? You know what I mean? Like there's stuff like, and
that's okay.
Yeah, no,
that's okay to
of
have
course
one
it's okay.
one. Yeah,
but I'm just saying there are things that are still so trendy that I love. I'm very trendy. I'm very,
and you also say you're very basic. You
I
say
do
that
think
all the
I
time.
am basic.
Yeah.
I think I love basic movies. I like more interesting niche things, but like I am a basic person at my core. Like I love Taylor Swift. I love like Clueless and rom-coms, and I like trashy romance books. Pink is my favorite color forever. It will never change. You know what I mean? So it's like, I think like instead of trying to fit myself into like, because I don't think I'm all the way basic, but I don't think I'm all the way interesting. You know what I mean? So it's like trying to fit myself into like, if I'm interesting, I have to listen to the Smiths every day and like, you know, wear my like jeans from the 90s. And like if I'm basic, like I have to have a Park sweatshirt. You know what I mean? Like it's like, why put yourself into one of those categories when you could just be your own category? I feel like that's what's helped me. And that's, I think, also working in fashion. My job has done a lot of the work for me too, because it's like you meet so many different women with different life perspectives, different stages in life, different goals for themselves, and realize like nobody is truly alike. I've sold the same dress twice to two different people who had two different goals or two different personality types. It's like we're all just kind of products of our environment, but like when you stop trying to fit into one category that everybody else told you should be, that's when you kind of just like find peace within yourself. And like the flattering is a myth thing. Like, I don't care. You know what I mean? I really don't care. I don't like think I have a style, really. I just wear whatever feels good, whatever looks cool. I feel like that's kind of, it's whatever.
Yeah. It's been a really cool
It's been a rough ride too, for sure.
Yeah, but I feel like every growing up is a rough ride.
Right.
In some way, shape, or form, for sure. And I do think your job has been so good in that way because, as you said, like you're seeing so many different body shapes, and you've told me like even somebody that comes in and you think like, wow, that is the perfect body, she has insecurities. And so you realize like everybody is wishing there was something different about them.
And I feel like grass is always greener. Like truly it is. So I don't know, I feel like it's just been like And I think there's there's still times where I'm like, oh, I wish I looked like that.
Right.
Or I wish I had this for that. Or I'm going to buy this because I'm going to look so skinny in it. You know what I mean? Like, and I'll say that stuff too, but it's like, just at the end of the day, like going to bed at night and being like, okay, like I'm at peace with myself and I'm okay where I'm at. And like everybody's at a different place than I am. Like there's no person that is the same as me, but there are people that feel the same as me. And there are people that have the same struggles as me. And there are people that have worse struggles than me. And there are people that have easier lives and harder lives.
Although I do think there is something about wearing things to make you feel powerful
100%.
For certain times of your life.
And I always say,
and the way you show up is the way you're going to, the way you dress is the way you're going to show up for certain situations.
And I feel like my mantra has always been look good, feel good, do good.
Yeah.
And I've followed that in a lot of parts of my life, but like looking good for me, and it's different for everyone, but looking good for me means looking cool and having an awesome outfit on. It doesn't mean looking cookie cutter. For some people, that is what it means, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Like that's not an issue. But it's like, I feel like when you detach yourself from the idea that everything has to be flattering and focus more on I'm wearing art and I'm an artist and I'm a creative person. Like when you get up in the morning, you put on a pair of Old Navy jeans, like you're creating something. You know what I mean? So have fun with it. Don't worry about what is poking out or what's showing and how can we hide that. Like, you know, you show up in a cool outfit. Everybody thinks you're cool. Nobody's looking at you like that. Like you're looking at yourself.
You're the important people, you know, like
the people that
people that care.
Right.
Yeah. The people
100%.
that matter. As we wrap up, I do know, you know, most of the people that listen are us old 50-year-old people.
Never gonna live.
But hopefully you'll send this to all your cool young friends and they'll listen too. But, and for specifically moms that are raising young children or girls growing up, it is really challenging.
Oh my God, I'm sure. I always say, I'm like, I want a daughter so bad, but like, it's hard.
Yeah, so it's really challenging because you will see your daughter wear something that you're conditioned in your own way of what's flattering, what looks good, what is societally acceptable. And so you want to always protect your child going out into the world. So you want your child to be protected. You don't want your child to be getting stares, especially not at your age, but I'm thinking at those younger ages, like 12, 13, 14.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want your child to be looked at in uncomfortable ways.
Right.
And so as someone that was that age, what do you think would be helpful to have a parent say? Like, let's say you came down to something that's not traditionally flattering, but maybe could get uncomfortable comments from classmates, peers. Yeah. Is it better for the parent to just keep the mouth shut and let the kid go and experience that? Or should the parent try to have a conversation? Like what I don't know, just as the kid, like, would you rather just go out to the wolves and figure it out yourself? Because I mean, I have thoughts on if I did it again, what I would do.
I feel like it's really difficult. I think, first of all, there's a line to be drawn between something being unflattering, like that's something I completely throw out the window, and something being inappropriate.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Especially as a young girl. And I think, sadly, the world that we live in, too, you don't, like, things being appropriate, especially for young preteen girls, is unfortunately something you have to think about.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's a difference between like something like showing off too much for like school, you know what I mean? That could attract negative attention on like sexualizing or like objectifying a body, and something being like you've been conditioned to think it's unflattering. I think it's difficult, but I think sometimes, and this isn't for everybody, but I think at that age, whatever a parent was going to say to me about an outfit looking unflattering or about kids I probably have already thought of it myself. And I'm not saying that's true for every kid, but I know for me, I've already looked in the mirror and been like, oh, I look kind of fat in this. You know what I mean? So it's like sometimes hearing that from a parent is just like confirming your worst fears, or you're kind of like, I've already thought that about myself. And I think as women especially, anything bad you can ever say to me, I've already come up with it. Like, you can't hurt me. I've already said the worst possible thing to myself this morning when I was going out the door. You know what I mean? That's genuinely how I feel. Like, if I get an insult, I'm like, girl, I already thought of that. Be more creative. Like, let's brainstorm, mama, because I already told myself that this morning. So it is kind of like a thing of like, I mean, I think there's definitely a line when you're like 10 years old, and even actually, it's a lie. At 10 years old, I was thinking that stuff. You know what I mean?
So sad.
It is sad. And it's not because of you, and it's not because of dad, and it's not because of the way you guys raised me. It's because of literally everything. You know what I mean? Like, I remember.
And you weren't even on social media.
No. So it's like, I cannot imagine what it is like today for girls younger than me who are like starting middle school and they're already like on TikTok. Like, that's hell. Sorry, it is. Like, I think in that case, we've already been inundated with this information. For me, it was like any pop culture, like, you just can't avoid it unless you're like Amish and living off the grid. I'm sure the Amish girls, though, they feel this too. Anything you could say to me would be something I already thought of, I think, is the bottom line. And I think there's definitely kids that are a little more naive who wouldn't think of that, which is awesome. Like, keep that. So I do feel like sometimes it is something that you just kind of have to figure out, because I also think it takes confidence to get ready and put something on that you think looks a little weird and you know you might be made fun of in, and still come downstairs for breakfast. So hearing that from a parent, I think, is also more hurtful than hearing it from a peer, because it's like hearing it from a parent, you're like, oh, it's true. You know what I mean? Or hearing it from a peer, you're like, oh, it's just a mean girl doing mean things, or a mean guy. So I feel like it is like a thing of like, sometimes you just have to let it go. I think if there's you don't want your kid to be sexualized, obviously. Right. And I totally get that. That's a whole other conversation. Which I think, like, somebody stepping in and being like, hey, this is really unfortunate. And like, I feel like I've definitely dealt with that a lot of my life, which sucks. But it is like something where like, I just don't want that unwanted attention. And if there was a utopia, a perfect world, I wouldn't have to worry about that, but I do. So that's a different conversation. But I think coming down to something that's like a little quirky or isn't fitting your body exactly right, like, you've already thought of that. You've already thought of the worst case scenario. If the worst case scenario happens, like, at least you didn't hear it from somebody who loves you. And at least you didn't hear it from somebody who is supposed to protect you. And I think it's more about protecting you from feeling bad about yourself and less about protecting you from other people. Because you can't control other people. You can't control what another kid would say. You can control instilling confidence into a kid and instilling a confidence to go and wear an ugly outfit or to go and make a mistake. Whereas like if you were to hear it from your parent, it would just be so hurtful. Yeah. Not because they're trying to be mean to you or they're trying to hurt your feelings, just because it's like, wow, I really look awful or I really like made a mistake because like this person who loves me and knows me is going to say something to me. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I do think it is like a thing of like, sometimes like throw them to the wolves because like you've already anticipated how the wolves are going to like eat you up.
And you're going to do it anyway.
They're going to do it anyways. And like, you saying something to me as I leave the house, again, different with like being appropriate, but you saying something to me as I leave the house, not saying you, just a parent saying something to a child as they leave the house in something that isn't flattering by societal expectations and standards is going to sting more than when they go to school in that outfit that's like could be ugly or it could be cool and it just shows off something weird. It's going to hurt more from somebody closer, especially because you've already thought of it and it's like confirming your worst fears. Go to school and mean girl does it, it's like, all right.
Right. She's just a mean girl.
Yeah. That's really workable, I think, too. Like, I mean, obviously it's upsetting and that's happened to me before and I'm like, Mom, like they did this and they did that. But like you are able to work through it with somebody you love and trust because that person who was super rude to you most likely isn't somebody you love and trust. Right. If somebody were to say something to you coming from a really personal, it hits deeper and it hits harder and it's harder to unpack than if it's somebody you not protecting your child from somebody else, but you're protecting them from feeling like a failure themselves. Yeah, that totally makes sense. Yeah.
Very good. Very good.
Should I write a parenting book?
Maybe have a kid or two
I'm
first.
joking. I'm going to be a hot mess.
Maybe have a kid or two first. I got you. I got you. Although all the rules will be way different by that point.
I can't imagine.
So flattering is a myth. I don't know, Ava Demcher. You may have sold me.
Really? I actually thought you were going to say I didn't.
Well, because when you went into flattering versus like accentuate, that was the tipping point for me.
Okay, good.
That was the tipping point for me.
I do think that is an important discussion because, like,
Yes.
obviously, like, you want to accentuate what your mama gave you. You want to accentuate what God
Yeah.
gave you.
Yeah.
Like, that can be a goal, too, in clothing. But I think flattering is more about less what I see. Maybe flattering started as accentuating, but for me, what I see all the time is flattering is hiding a part that doesn't work instead of accentuating is putting two parts together to make a whole.
Yeah. I do think it's nuanced, but I agree. Like I always want to wear clothes that look good on me, and that may be a flaw, but I also want to look.
It's not a flaw.
Cool. Like I want both things. Like I want to look unique and interesting. It's not always, but sometimes I want to look classic or sometimes I want to look professional, but and sometimes I don't care so much if things are a little more form-fitting, but if I'm standing in front of a group presenting, I definitely I don't want things to be form-fitting. I want to be able to be flowy, and I don't want all the rolls hanging out.
I think that's more of a goal than something being flattering. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Different strokes for different folks, first of all.
Yeah.
And also different things are appropriate or needed for different situations. But that doesn't mean that something's flattering. It means it meets a goal.
Right, exactly. Yeah, the goal thing I think is also really important because you're going to be wearing different things for different events 100%. In your life. And it's kind of like,
it's not always going to be like accentuating.
Exactly.
It's not always going to make your body look amazing. It is like part of it is like meeting a goal, like looking cool, looking professional. Like,
exactly.
Sometimes I see myself in a blazer and I'm like, oh my God, I look like a linebacker. But it's like, wait, I look like Kamala Harris low key, just like if Kamala Harris had linebacker shoulders. You know what I mean? That's kind of what I think in my head.
You definitely do not have linebacker shoulders.
I know, but that's the thing too. I like look at myself, I'm like, oh, my shoulders. And I'm like, nobody else is looking at that. Yeah. Like I look professional. I look like I'm ready to like engage professionally.
Right.
So if it doesn't make my butt look huge, that's fine. I'm not here to look snatched. I'm here to be intelligent.
It's so interesting to me.
The butt huge?
I
knew you were going to say that.
Yes, because that, like, to me is like, oh, you don't want your butt to look huge.
That's the other thing.
But your generation is like, no, you do want your butt to look huge.
That's the other thing. It's gonna, like, and probably at the point I have a daughter, you're gonna want one cheek to be small, one cheek to be huge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's gonna change forever. So it's like something, I also think that's the thing with like timeless. Everybody wants to look timeless nowadays. Looking timeless isn't gonna be accentuating or flattering even because timeless in the 1950s had a different body type than timeless in the 2020s.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
So it is just kind of like if you want to wear something timeless, awesome. Wear what's cool, wear what's classic, but you don't have to be a certain body type to fit into that flattering idea. Yeah. That's kind of how I feel about it.
Well done.
Thanks.
Very proud of you, as always.
Shirt off. That's compression.
It looks cool, though.
I know. That's the point, right?
It made the goal. All right.
My goal.
I love you very much.
Me too.
Very proud of you. And you'll have to let us know if you buy it or not.
And definitely, if you want to let us know, comment and engage, but also feel free to give me a follow and then send me a DM because it'll send me in my primary inbox. And then I'll also get more followers.
Yes, follow Ava. She's also really fun to follow on TikTok. I'm not going to lie. So go follow Ava Demcher on TikTok.
It's Ava Demcher, I think.
Oh, Ava Demcher. We'll link it in the show notes.
Drop the ER.
We'll link it in the show notes.
It's a little trendy.
All right. Well, thanks, Ava. Flattering is a myth. I'm buying it. Let us know if you do too.
Yeah, follow me. Let me know if you have a Park sweatshirt, if I should get one. Because they're like $140.
You're buying that yourself.
Yeah, but they look really comfortable, so we'll see. Probably not.
All right, everybody. We'll be back next week.
Bye.
Bye.